Good morning, Brownsville. Good afternoon, good evening, depending on when you're watching this feed. If this is your first time here, welcome. My name is Frank Olivo. Our program focuses on the very important issues that are affecting our local community. We have shed light on injustices and we've allowed for our platform, this mic, to be that of the voice of the people. Now, this is something you can see yourself supporting, but we ask that you join the cause. Make sure that you follow and subscribe to all of our social media platforms. Currently, right now, this live program is being streamed on X, formerly known as Twitter, and on Facebook. We could be found under Frankie Olivo. Make sure you follow our personal page on Face. We could be found under Olivo Frankie. But more importantly, if you haven't already, create a Gmail account, go to YouTube, like, follow, and subscribe to our channel titled Frankie Olivo TV. It's free. As of late, our Facebook page is at risk of being taken down. The powers that be do not want you, the voter, to know the truth. But remember, we will not be silenced. So if you're really about the cause and you want to stand up to corruption and you want to hold our elected leaders and those in leadership positions accountable, well, you know what to do. Support and join the cause. Make sure that you subscribe to all of our social media platforms. Remember, Good Morning Brownsville will come on Monday through Friday religiously. So make sure that you are subscribed and tuned in to Frankie Olivo TV. We will not be silenced. And always remember, Brownsville, we are forever grateful to each and every one of you for the time and attention that you provide us. Thank you so much for that. How we doing, chat? How we doing? I apologize. It's been a hectic morning. Yesterday was an eventful night. One that I'll remember forever. I'm very grateful for life and the love that I have received from friends, family, and colleagues. I do apologize for coming on a little bit after our allocated time. Life happens sometimes, but at the end of the day, the circus, the show, ladies and gentlemen, must always go on. We do not stop for one monkey. Today's going to be a short, quick episode. Today, I want to focus on former high school teacher Ricky Trujillo is set for sentencing today. And whenever we talk about a teacher, it is a person that is trusted possibly as a mentor, an authoritative figure. Now he stands exposed before a judge for violating a fundamental boundary that exists between teachers and student relationships. Today, he will be sentenced. What makes the betrayal so profound is not only the harm that is done to the student, to the victim, to the young woman, the young lady, but the ripple effect of mistrust that it sends throughout the entire community, especially amongst parents who entrusted teachers, administrators at Rivera High School to provide their child with safety, growth, and ultimately well-being. For us, the community, what message does it send? This revelation that there were relationships between students and teachers, that allegations that go back 20, 10 years of coaches grooming students. Ultimately, what this does is it shatters a basic assumption that schools and athletic programs are places of protection, not exploitation. Many parents are angered. They fear for the safety of their children. And a lingering doubt ultimately lies about who can you really trust with the lives of your child. Ultimately, ladies and gentlemen, this world is cruel. You shouldn't trust nobody. We have heard of family members even crossing those lines and taking advantage of children. We've heard stories on the news and whatnot, and it's very sad because you would never think that that a family member would do that. We would never think that a coach, someone who's married, who has his own family, one would not ruin the life that he had, but even more importantly, would not prey and take advantage of a young woman. Now, this is a very difficult topic of discussion, and I like to talk about it because it brings about the question: what's going to happen today at sentencing? What's the message that a judge could send? Currently, right now, we are in the election cycle. If you've been following our program, we are on the last stretch of the leg of the race for the Cameron County Judge, Cameron County Precinct 2, the clerk's race, and also, more importantly, for the sake of today's program, of the 107th Judicial District Court, where we have 3 candidates that are vying for your vote. And we've been talking about one such as Aaron Hernandez Garcia, who has a lot of question marks of corruption, of listening to a constable in regards to her time during a magistrate. And we're going to continue to talk about this because this is very, very important. What message will the judge that Trujillo will be before? Will he accept this? And the interesting thing about this, ladies and gentlemen, is that, in my opinion, this was, as a layperson with no legal background, no legal experience, as a common folk, to me, this was a slam dunk case. If we remember the details and the indictment of the charges against Trujillo of 3 counts of inappropriate relationship with a student, well, there were text messages of the authorities being able to corroborate that something did happen. There was intercourse. One time it was at a local park during Easter. But even more egregious, even more crazier than that, the teacher and the student had sex in the classroom during school hours. Can you imagine that? That guy is an idiot. Who would subject themselves to that type of whatever he did? It's unfathomable. So you have, in my opinion, a slam dunk case. You have text messages where he texted her, "It finally happened." Even though it was a few minutes, I'm so glad it happened. You have not only text messages of Trujillo stating that he did have sex with his student. Not only that, but there's video from the school that the authorities used as part of the indictment. They allege that Trujillo was standing at the door. The young lady walks in. Trujillo closes the door. After a few minutes, the young lady is seen walking out of the classroom, fixing her blouse. Maybe she was putting on her clothes. So, in my opinion, if you have a text message where Trujillo admits that he had sex with a student in the classroom, if you have video of the alleged incident, isn't that a slam dunk? Now, today, Vanessa Trevino, today is sentencing. We will report it as soon as we get it. We were supposed to go, but life happens sometimes. But we do have a colleague of ours that is there present in the courtroom right now. And as soon as we get information in regards to um, what the judge decides. We will let you know. The interesting thing about this is that while I believe that this is a slam dunk case, the district attorney's office possibly didn't see it this way. There was an agreement, a plea deal between the state and Trujillo and his attorney. The agreement, according to court filings, is 10 years deferred adjudication with up to 6 months of county jail as a condition of probation. What does that mean? That means that both parties came into an agreement. They're asking the judge to allow for this agreement to go through. Why? One thing that we want to ask is that it's a very important question. Is Cameron County soft on crime? When we talk about our district attorney, he is the highest law enforcement office in our county. His office is in charge of keeping our community safe. I want to ask you the question, what message does this send? Now, the argument will be and has been, because there's many people, and I'm sure you've seen it out there, many people are saying, oh, she was of age. She was an adult. She's 19 years old. In the state of Texas, as long as you're 18, she's legal. That man should walk. Now, Trujillo, from my understanding, had a clean record. But I go back to the question. Now, it is against the law to have a teacher-student relationship. I just want to lay that out there. It does not matter. From my understanding, it does not matter whether the student is 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. Have we seen those types of cases? Yes, we have. Regardless, if she was legal, she was still enrolled as a student. That's the most important thing, right? So I asked the question, how does the community feel? And look, we have mothers, we have sisters, we have aunts, uncles. How would you feel if your daughter, if your sister, if your niece, heck, female or male, if they were groomed, if they were taken advantage of? Because that's what it is. And look, many people on social media have wanted to shame this young woman. At the end of the day, I don't blame her. You know, whenever a person is 17, 18, 19, even though or 18, 19, even though they're considered adults, are they really up here? I could think of myself when I was that age. I was still a kid. In the eyes of the law, she's legal. Is that the reason why the state of Texas is not going to want to throw the book at Ricky Trujillo? Ultimately, the one who has the power to accept the agreement based on the state's recommendation is the judge. Ultimately, the judge could say, nope, this is a time case or prepare for trial. Does that happen? Yes. Remember, this is a high-profile case, ladies and gentlemen. We just saw what happened with the death of baby Logan. People were in uproar whenever a judge sentenced the woman to 5 years. Shortly after, gave her shock probation. She was deported. There were many reasons why many could argue that she merited that because she was pregnant. Other people say, Frankie, there's people in jail that have babies all day. TDCJ, they have prenatal care. They have hospitals. They have a designed area for women that are pregnant. She's going to get all the care needed. She shouldn't have been shocked. This was, some say, a humanitarian issue. Others say it was a political favor. So the community was in uproar. They were upset. Is this the same thing that's happening right now with this case? Because at the end of the day, this is going to set precedents. How so, you may ask? Well, for coaches, for teachers, and I'm not just singling out the males. Let's talk about the female teachers as well. Let's say that this plea agreement between the parties is accepted by the court. What's going to happen to Ricky Trujillo? He's going to lose his license if it hasn't been suspended already. He's going to do 6 months in jail as a condition of probation. He is going to be on probation for 10 months, but he's still going to be out. Now, this is a twofold rhetorical question because many people out there have been saying, hey, bro, yeah, he's already shamed. He can't show himself in the community. He can't go out for Charles days and want to act like everything's cool with his friends. He's going to be, what's the word? Blackballed. He's going to be that ugly duckling. Nobody's going to want to hang out with him. People are going to think twice to take pictures with him. And what's the purpose of jail? What's the purpose of the judicial system? We can argue that we'd like justice to be served. But on the other hand, isn't the judicial system something that rehabilitates? Whenever somebody goes through the process, the legal process, we'd hope that whenever they come out of that, they are rehabilitated. I think of this as sinning. I'm a Christian. I wholeheartedly believe, and the Bible shows us, that no matter what you did, you can commit the most egregious crime out there. If you believe in Christ, if you are baptized, if you do a 180 in your life, you will be saved. We have the Apostle Paul, Saul of Tarsus, who, because of the Apostle Paul, we, the Gentiles, non-Jews, are able to seek salvation through Christ. If we know about the story, and I'll give you real quick, and I hate to go talk about theology, but the Apostle Paul was persecuting Christians. It wasn't until God appeared before him and blinded him, and then Apostle Paul was, who are you? I am that person that you are persecuting. I am that person that you are chasing. And after that vision with God, he believed that Jesus was the Son of Man, Son of God, and he started preaching the gospel. God used the worst of the worst. We can talk about Rab La Ramera, where she hid spies in her house. Who would think that God would use a prostitute to fulfill his wishes? Who would think that God would use a somebody that would eliminate Christians? No. Yes, God used them. I may be going too far into this, but what about Trujillo? Is this something to where we don't want to ruin his life? We want him to get rehabilitated. We want him to continue on with his life, and let's just give him 10 years probation. Whenever we think of the death of baby Logan, the judge granted, or the plea agreement was 5 years TDC for Karin Silva. The family lost a child. The family's going to be tormented forever. What about this young lady's family? I can make the argument, and I will make the argument, that she's never going to be the same. In my opinion, the worst torment that I as a human being could go through is mentally. I would rather have somebody beat me physically than for me or my mind to be not able to sleep at night, have restless nights. And I know what you're thinking. Oh, well, she's of age. She knew what she was doing. Andaba de caliente. She's a young adult. I would dare say she's a young child who was groomed by this man. And the thing that I want to stress is this wasn't Trujillo's first time. If you followed the program, we talked to you and showed you proof where a victim 10 years ago told us where he lived, gave us details of his room, gave details of the dogs that he had, that he was living with his mom, exactly where his room was located. And this young woman 10 years ago, this happened shortly before Trujillo got arrested. This woman, then student at Rivera High School, said that she had sex with Trujillo at least 10 times. This case that he's being sentenced on today is not his first victim. There's possibly more. Now, Hernandez is asking, is he going to have to file as a sex offender? I don't believe so. I don't remember. I went through the court documents, and I don't think that was in the plea bargain agreement, because at the end of the day, she's of age. She's considered an adult. So that's why I'm kind of back and forth. Why did the state pretty much say, okay, we'll give you probation? And I'd like to think that the state does this. No, because she is not underage. Juan Wick, I believe the young woman, the young lady in question, was 19 years old. If I'm not, correct me if I'm wrong. So did the state look at this and say, if we go to trial, the jury, there's going to be people on that jury, they're going to have reasonable doubt and say, oh, well, she was looking for it and she's 19, she's legal, let that man go. Maybe. Where you win a case, especially a jury trial, is in voir dire. Voir dire is the most important aspect of a trial, because that is where both sides, in this case the state and the defense team, have a panel of, let's say, 60 potential jurors. Depending on the high-profile cases, sometimes there's up to 120, 300 potential jurors. And I've seen that before during my time at Cameron County, where there were high-profile cases and they wanted a large pool as possible, because if during strikes, because you ask questions, hey, Juan Wick, how do you feel? Juan Wick, you are, they could ask someone like Martinez, Mr. Martinez, you are a father you are a father. How would you feel if, how do you feel about a student-teacher relationship? Would you be able to convict this man? And somebody like Martinez would say, no, free that man. So the state might say, okay, I'm not gonna pick Raul Martinez. I'm gonna scratch him out. And voir dire is where a trial is ultimately won, because each side is looking for potential jurors that would potentially agree with them in time of reaching a verdict. So is this a case, Martinez, where maybe the state said, you know what? She's 19. Maybe she was chiflada. Maybe there are going to be people out there that are going to say, she knew what she was doing. She's an adult. Free that man. Free that guy. I personally don't agree with that. Again, imagine your baby girl. And, even though she's 19, to somebody, that's still a baby girl. They say that a relation between a father daughter is something very special, and that it doesn't matter whether the daughter is, 5, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years old. At the end of the day, to that father, it's still his baby girl. So it doesn't matter whether that young lady was 19 years old. To that father, she's still his baby girl. And I've talked to people that said, I would do XYZ to that man for putting my daughter what he did. We've all heard it, right? So it's going to be a very interesting case. It's going to be talked about, because this ultimately is going to set precedents moving forward. Because if Trujillo gets a slap on the hand of losing his license, which getting 10 years probation, that's tough enough. Because if he ever messes up, and that's an argument that the state's probably saying, hey, he has 10 years over his head. He has 10 years over his head. So if he messes up, if he drinks, if he violates probation, he's going to TDC for 10 years. That is a punishment that is just. We're giving him a chance, but we're not. He's got to walk that line. Maybe the state is saying that is sufficient punishment. I myself hope that the judge denies this plea agreement. Because what message are we sending to the community? What message are we sending to our educators? Don't worry. Don't worry. If you get caught having a relationship with a student and she or he is of age, 18, 19 years old, nothing's going to happen to you. Look what happened to Trujillo. And again, every case is different, right? But this one is going to be the example for the next 10 years. I can't remember, correct me if I'm wrong, and if you guys want to input, I can't remember the last time we had a teacher charged. I know people have messaged me and say, talk about this case, but it's been like 15, 20 years. I can't find anything like as of late. Do we need to set the example? No, Trevino. I'll look into it. I haven't heard anything about the wrestling coach. I think it was. There were questions about him going to a party and having a student on his lap, but we'll go into that on another time. I apologize. Does the judge need to come down hard on this teacher to send a message to the community? If you were to touch any student, I'm going to throw the book at you. Tú eres un hombre. Te puedes conseguir cualquiera vieja, cualquiera mujer, y te aprovechas de un estudiante. Quizás sí tiene de edad, pero mentalmente es una niña. Te aprovechaste. Again, dads, hey man, don't touch, if something happens to your son, he's a boy. Hey, man up, man, man up. But if something happens to a daughter, there's no telling what a dad would do to somebody that possibly took her innocence. Maybe she was and I'm just thinking hypothetically, I don't mean to be gross or anything, but maybe he took her virginity. Maybe he took that innocence. And as parents, don't you want to preserve the innocence of your child as much as possible? Because this world, ladies and gentlemen, is ugly, is cruel. It's a scary world out here. It's a jungle. You send your child to school because you think that is a place where they're going to be protected. They're going to be safe from harm. You don't send your child to Rivera High School to get groomed by Trujillo and others, right? So today, ladies and gentlemen, is sentencing for Julio Ricardo Trujillo. There is a plea agreement of 10 years probation with possibly up to 6 months of county jail. How do you feel? We have Juan Wick saying, hey, throw the book at that mother trucker. That way the other coaches, the other teachers see me like, nope, it's not worth it. Nope, I have a wife, I have a kid, I have my life. It's not worth it. Or you know what? I'm going to get a lot of flack for this. Get a prostitute. Te sale barato? Te sale barato? And you may still have your license. It's not a laughing matter, but let's preserve the innocence of students. Let's preserve the innocence of children. By the judge rejecting this plea agreement, he's going to send a strong message to the community that says, you better not touch the students. They are to be cared for. They are to be valued. Go look for women outside of school. If you're going to fornicate, if you're going to cheat on your spouse, do not touch the women. How do you feel about this case? Juan Wick says this is going to be the example for future law cases. We need to throw the book at him. Gaspar Garza says he is in a position of authority as her teacher. Therefore, he went against the ethics of his profession. And look, for those individuals that are teachers, they are reminded a lot. Like you're talking every 6 months, every holiday, whenever you go out for holidays. Hey guys, be careful. People are going to be drinking. Do not commit a crime. If you do, you have to report it. They always talk about at the start of the year. There's always trainings and continuing education classes of the do's and don'ts of being a teacher, of what's ethically, morally correct in this profession. Sandy Gaspar Garza. So it can't be to where I didn't know. She was of age. I thought it was okay. Nah. Don't touch our students. If andas de caliente, go look elsewhere. Go get a prostitute. I know it sounds bad. It's breaking the law. But I would rather him break the law with a prostitute than take the innocence of this young woman. Imagine the torment that she's going through. What lies did this animal, Santana, what lies did this animal tell her? That he loves her, that he's going to leave his family for her. And look, growing up, whenever you're 15, 19, 20, you have a lot of emotions. I'll talk about myself, like, like I was a boy. I'm a boy. Imagine a young lady. Imagine the emotions and the hormones and what she's going through. And then for this animal to lie to her, who saw her as vulnerable and took advantage of her. I see him as a wolf preying on a little sheep, like, that's crazy, right? Whenever you think of it that way. This man, and I don't mean to sound weird in any way, he could have gotten any woman that he wanted. He could have hired a prostitute. He could have gotten a happy ending from massage parlors throughout town. But you know what he did? He did something unthinkable. He had sex with a child in school during school hours, and we're going to give him probation? No. Again, I have all respect in the world for judges and attorneys. I really do. I worked for a state district judge. I saw firsthand of the pressure that these people live under. It's high stakes. It's on tilt 24/7. You have to be a special breed to withstand all that pressure. But on the flip side, the judges have a great responsibility, just as the district attorney's office does, with keeping our community safe and with sending messages, especially about students. Don't touch our students. They are off limits. And if you do touch our students, we're going to throw the book at you. We're going to make an example out of you. No, I didn't say that. Whether it's a boy or girl, as long as they're students, it's wrong. Never did I say that it's okay for a boy to be violated. No. Now, again, if this is outside of school, if they're not students, if they're of age, they're considered adults. The issue here, Gamboa, is they're adults, but they're students. That's the issue. There might have been some misunderstanding on your part. Never did I say that it's okay for a boy to be violated, for a boy to be taken advantage of. Again, whether it's a boy or girl, as long as they're students, it's bad. And I apologize for any misunderstanding that there may have been. It's just as bad. That's the issue here. How do you feel, my people? Make sure you comment. Sentencing is happening right now. What will the judge do? And even more importantly, you know, teachers and coaches are watching this case. And if Trujillo gets a slap on the hand, they're going to be like, If I'm ever horny, I'm just going to violate a student. Because look at Trujillo. Nothing happened to him. What, he lost his license? I could work for the oil rigs. Oh, he got 10 years probation? That's no biggie. What, he got 6 months in jail? I don't have to pay rent. I eat for free. I got a bed. I'm fine. Those are the questions that are going to come up with this sentencing. It's Brownsville. It all depends on how connected the family is with the judge or politicians. I hope not. I hope not, especially with this case, because ultimately what judges and district attorneys do is they send messages. And if people know that Cameron County is tough on crime, they're going to think twice. And they're going to say, you know what? It's not worth it. No. I give up. I don't want it. Nope. Mm-mm. But if they're soft on crime, what's going to happen? Curious, what's your perspective? He was a college professor and her being 19 at the same situation happening. Graciel, 1, 2, 3, 4. I think it's the same issue, no? Because professors, I think they're still bound by that teacher-student relationship. If they're teachers. Now, if, and I think even some employers, heck, President Trump's, I forgot her cabinet. She's being investigated for having a relationship with an employee. Even employers, they have this, hey, avoid any fraternization between colleagues that leads to further that to sexual relation because it could interfere, and that's a big no. You're going to get fired or you're going to get moved. In regards to college professor, I think it's the same thing. Even though she's 20, 40, 50 years old student, it's still a student, in my opinion. Again, I'm speaking as a layperson without no legal experience, no legal background. I think they fall under the same parameter where ethically it's wrong being a professional, being a person of authoritative figure. But what do you feel? What's your stance on this, Graciel? I'm assuming by the name you are a female or identify as one. What do you think? Maybe HEB should implement that more. Just say, hey, an HEB, it's a free for all. How do you women feel about this? Again, you probably have a daughter, you probably have a niece, you probably have a son, you probably have a nephew. How do you feel of students being preyed on? Are you okay with somebody such as this getting a slap on the hand, according to people? Mauro Galvan, good morning. How do you feel, Mauro Galvan? Do you have a daughter? Do you have a son? Do you have a niece? Do you have a nephew? How do you feel? Are you okay with this man getting probation? It's interesting because this will show the community this sentencing, and it's going to happen. Let me mess with my people. Let me message my people. Let's see what happens in sentencing. Cameron County is a scapegoat for crime, and this guy gets probation, and the fajita guy got so much more. I forgot about that, Patricia. How do you feel? The fajita gate, the fajita scandal, fajita gate at one time got 50 years. He stole over $1 million. Is this worse, my people? What do you value? District attorney, what do you value, judge? Do you value fajita? Do you value $1 million over the life of a child? Well, over the life of a student? What's more important? Any reasonable person would say that there is no dollar amount for the value of a son, a daughter, a niece, a nephew. There's no value amount because we won't be able to afford it. Right? Gaspar Garza says, I believe he took advantage of her youth. He manipulated her with words and had sexual relationships on school grounds during school hours. He needs to never be allowed to teach, serve significant time, and possibly pay money for damages to the young lady and her family. Question. And I don't think so. I think because she was of age, I'm going to talk to my attorney friends in regards to this. Sorry, what's the actual charge? Let's see the actual charge. I think it's 3 counts of 3 counts. Okay, a former Brownsville Independent School District teacher pleaded guilty to having an improper relationship with a student. As a plea deal, Trujillo entered a plea deal and was stripped of his teaching license in exchange for a lesser sentence of 5 years probation. Trujillo facing up to 20 years in prison for each count charge of improper relation with a student, a second-degree felony. So he had 3 counts. If Trujillo does face jail time, it will be a sentence of no longer than 6 months, as requested by the judge. Trujillo's license to teach cannot be renewed or reinstated and cannot be used for employment in Texas public schools, according to TEA board. An affidavit obtained by Valley Central details that on May the 5th, a victim was interviewed by Cameron County Advocacy Center, Monica's house, and told investigators that on April 14th, Trujillo, a teacher at Rivera High School and girls basketball coach, asked her to meet him in a classroom. Footage from the school revealed that at 11:29 a.m., Trujillo was standing by the classroom door before entering. The 19-year-old student was seen walking into the classroom a minute later, after she is seen walking back into her classroom while fixing her blouse. At 11:45 a.m., Trujillo sent the student a message stating, "It finally happened. I loved it, even if it had to be rushed." The 19-year-old student told authorities she recalled that sometime after Easter, Trujillo picked her up and took her to a nearby park to engage in sexual acts in the vehicle on 2 occasions. On May 15th, 2025, Trujillo was arrested by Cameron County District Attorney's Office, the Special Investigations Unit, in collaboration with the BISD police on a charge of improper relationships with a student educator. According to previous reports, the arrest resulted from an investigation into several district employees. Several. This isn't an isolated issue, ladies and gentlemen, that BISD is having. Several. Trujillo was listed as a criminal justice principal of law. Okay, breaking news. 8 years deferred and 108 days as condition of probation. It's set. I got to post. What? So it's official. Got to post. 1 second. It's official, ladies and gentlemen. The judge did agree with the breaking news. 8 years deferred adjudication, 180 days county jail as a condition of probation. Wow. So Ricky's going in right now. He has to serve the 180 days in condition of probation. Cameron County Courthouse. It's official, ladies and gentlemen. Again, all respect to the judge, all respect to his attorney, Adolfo Cordova, if I'm not mistaken. Ricky Trujillo. I got to put, man, breaking news, guys. Woo! Who's the judge, Adolfo Cordova? Accepted the plea agreement. Agreement. Damn, I got fat fingers. Between the state and defense counsel. Ricky Trujillo was sentenced to 8 years deferred adjudication, which is probation, and 180 days of county jail as a condition of his probation. Boom. What are your thoughts on the sentence? Judge Adolfo Cordova accepted the agreement between the state and defense counsel. Ricky Trujillo was sentenced to 8 years deferred adjudication and 180 days as condition. Damn, I got fat fingers. Of county jail as a condition of his probation. Boom. Crazy. Again, he has a hell of an attorney. Nat Perez, man, worth every penny. 6 months of county jail. He only serves a third of that time, 2 months of jail. I I don't know. I would have to read it in detail, but I think, Jose Mario, yes, that is correct. If a defendant, based on my experience working at the courthouse, and as a layman, my understanding is that if you do fulfill the obligations of probation, your case will get dismissed and possibly you can get it expunged. But again, it is 10 years. If he slips once or twice, he's going in. It depends on the severity of the case, right? If he violates the conditions of probation. But I think he could get it dismissed and expunged if he's, pays the fees, if he does the counseling, if he stays clean, if he, does not break the law. Judge Adolfo Cordova accepted the agreement between the state and defense counsel. Ricky Trujillo was sentenced to 8 years deferred adjudication and 180 days of county jail. What are your thoughts on this sentence? Boom. I stopped. Posted. Breaking news. After 8 years, comes off his record. Yes, he is. It is my understanding. I believe that because pretrial diversion, I got pretrial diversion, and I was able to expunge my records for sending the dick pic. Ricky Trujillo, I think deferred adjudication, you can. I think. But if you violate that, then they'll convict him, and then he won't be able to expunge that. Did they remove his? Yes, Sam. As a condition of the plea agreement was that he was going to voluntarily surrender his teaching license. So again, he's not going to be around students. Who's going to hire him? And then I spoke to somebody yesterday. They said, "Look, Frank, yeah, bro, he's ostracized. Nobody's going to, everybody's going to be looking at him. He's going to be the black sheep of the friends." Does the DA have to agree? Isn't a plea done between the DA and the person, the judge, except no, Jose Mario. The way it works is the defense counsel, the defense team, and the district attorney's office, they come into an agreement. They write up the details of the agreement, and then they present it to the judge. They said, "Look, judge, this is my agreement based on my experience as a layperson. I'm saying this. I have no legal background, no legal experience. I'm not an attorney, but the agreement is between the state, the Cameron County, the district attorney's office, and the defense team. They come to an agreement. They present their agreement to the judge. The judge could either accept it or reject it. And that causes them to either draft new details or possibly go to trial. But we see here that the judge did accept his agreement. Wow, this is big. This is big. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. What is the community going to think about this? What are the teachers that are grooming children going to think about this? If anything happens, it won't be so bad. Rivera Island. Yeah, it's scary, man. It's scary out there. Who would it be at fault? The judge that works the deal or the judge that accepts it? I agree, Juan Wick. To me, it's just a slap on the hand because other coaches, other teachers, they're not going to be scared, in my opinion. Slap on the hand. Who would be at fault? The judge that works the deal or the DA that I don't know. That's something for you to decide. Because we could make the argument that the DA is the one that's supposed to keep us safe. To me, it was a slam dunk case. You have text messages. You have the victim was interviewed by Monica's house, the advocacy group. You have a video that they had sex on campus. Can you imagine that? Oh my God. To me, that's hardcore. That they had sex, period, is bad. But the brazenness of this animal to have sex with a student in class during while people are around. Juan Wick is saying they will judge every case off this one in particular. The defense can always divert back to, well, let's look back at the punishment. Somebody said that about this, ladies and gentlemen. I think yes. Somebody said something because they're like, "Hey, Frank, yeah, bro, he suffered enough. He lost his family, his kids. This is going to be an embarrassment for him. He's not going to be able to. He's going to have to leave for work where nobody knows him. He lost his retirement. Yeah, Frankie, ya, déjalo, hombre. Es humano, bro. Tú también tienes cola." So I think maybe, yes, Graciel or Gracie L. I think that he might lose his retirement. I could be wrong though. For any educators out there that are informed, message me in regards to this issue, because it is it's very interesting. El pinche viejo del DA no vale mother. Must be a family member of the lawyer, but yet money talks and bull crap walks. Again, I have nothing but respect for the district attorney's office. I have nothing but respect for Nat Perez, who served as the defense counsel for Ricky Trujillo. I have nothing but love and respect for Nat Perez. He did a phenomenal job. His job is to get the best outcome for his client. Plain and simple. He did what he needed to do. And he's worth every penny, ladies and gentlemen. And if you aren't aware of who Nat Perez is, I hate to say this, but he is the top of the top. Like, if you commit a crime in Cameron County, he is 3, possibly 5 of the very best. It's going to cost you, though, but with good results. This shows to all the girls that it doesn't matter if you come forward, you will not get justice. Wow, Sam, that is an impactful statement, Sam. Who cares if you were violated? Who cares if your innocence was taken? He's still going to get probation. Damn it, boy. Now, was there the victim impact statement? Let me ask. Nomás. Was there an impact statement made by the parents or student after sentencing? Let me ask. Let's see. That's very powerful, Sam. This shows to all the little girls, you're not important. Who are the top 5? You're getting me in trouble, Perez. Top five. Top 5. Top 5. And in no particular order. I don't want anybody to say, in no particular order. Nat Perez. Noe Garza. Ed Stapleton. Rick Anales. I'm talking about crime, criminal defense. Who's the fifth one? Ed Tsiganowicz, because he handles capital murders. Al Padilla, I'm not sure if he's still practicing. But those are my top 5 in no particular order. And no disrespect to all the attorneys out there. I have nothing but love and respect to all the attorneys. To me, these people are like doctors. Though they do have a doctoral degree. Because we go to them to fix our problems. So in no particular order, the top 5 lawyers that if you ever need somebody, Nat Perez, Noe Garza, Stapleton, Rick Anales. I know I'm missing one, but for me, not remembering right now, I want to go with Ed Tsiganowicz. But that's just me. I'm going to get in trouble, I know. This just sent the wrong message to the pedophiles BISD is hiding. And that leads to others. Again, according to the article, it said that other people Games. Did I say Games? Games. I said Games, no? I think I said Games. Yes, I said Games the first time. Nat Perez, Noe Garza, Rick Canales, Stapleton, and Games. There you go. I apologize. I'm sorry, Mr. Ziganowicz. I'm on the island a lot. Please don't take it. Please don't take it hard on me. I love you, though. There you go. I forgot. Nat Perez, Noe Garza, Stapleton, Rick Canales, Games. In no particular order. Those guys, creme de la creme, in my opinion, for criminal law. But that's just my opinion. Ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel titled Franco Legal TV. Best believe Good Morning Bronzo will come on Monday through Friday religiously. We'll continue to talk about what's most important in our everyday lives. The purpose of this program is to stay informed. If our community is better informed, we can make better decisions in regards to electing the right candidates. Do you agree with what happened with the case of baby Logan? There are people that are asking for Judge Gloria Rincones to resign. That's not going to happen. But that is going to be the Logan case. For the Gloria Rincones case is going to be the example. Maybe there are attorneys that are already lining up to run against her, and they're going to use that case against her. Are people going to use this case of a teacher-student relationship where, in my opinion, as a layperson, it was a slam dunk case that the judge ultimately agreed? Samuel makes a great point. Hey, this shows all the girls that it doesn't matter if you come forward, you will not get the justice. Damn, Sam, I'm gonna use your thing because it's a very powerful statement, Samuel. It really is. How do you feel as a community? How do you feel about this happening? Do you have a daughter? Do you have a son? Are you okay with a teacher having sex with a student in class, getting a slap on the hand to what many consider? Ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel titled Franco Legal TV. We are almost at our 1,000 mark, ladies and gentlemen. I think I need 40 more people. Help me. Help you. Ladies and gentlemen, have a great Wednesday. Happy Wednesday. A ver, Gamboa, what do you say? Which are the best courts to move your cases? I'm not going to go there. I don't know. I've been away from the game for a while. I don't know. You want to give me a chungo, Gamboa? I know. Ladies and gentlemen, help me reach the 1,000 mark. I am at let me tell you. I am at 959 subscribers on YouTube. I just need 41 more. Please help me get there. Ladies and gentlemen, have a great day. My name is Franco Legal. This is Good Morning Bronzo. Peace.